What's up? What's up? We got another episode of the Lee's Fitness Unlimited podcast. Today's episode, I got another one of my brothers, a good friend, and somebody that I really relate to as a young black business owner. My dude is focused. He is the owner of Frontrvnners clothing line and just a full time boss. Josh Jackai. What's up, bro?
What's good, bro? Appreciate it. Appreciate it, bro.
Oh man, I appreciate you, man. Before we even get started, I'm gonna let the people know who you are, cause you helped me out tremendously, bro. Tremendously.
Appreciate it.
For those of you who don't know, which is a lot of people don't know, this guy right here designed my logo. He designed the
Oh
Michael
yeah.
logo. It's the man behind that.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot about that. That's crazy.
Man,
That
that's
was the
how far
back. That
back
was
we
far
go.
back. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, man, and to this day, like my hoodies and my t-shirts, everything is pretty basic. It's just the logo. I don't go off and do too many extra designs, but that
Yeah, that's
logo
smart.
is that logo is so nice, and I get so many compliments on it to this day, and people
That's
really
dope.
love to wear it. So, bro,
Yeah, I got the
thank you.
shorts too that I got. I got the shorts I bought. I think it's a sweat and shorts I got still.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah. I still got those.
So
Actually was
let's
rocking the shorts the other day. Yeah.
let's talk about how you guys started with this, because I met you in college playing football. At
Yeah.
that time, did you know that you wanted to do what you're doing today?
Yeah, I definitely had it in mind. That was around the time I first started it too, actually. But like, growing up in the Bay, we was always in the J's and shit. Jordans and Air Forces, like the rare shit. But I was into it like when SB Dunks like first came out like early 2000s and shit. And I didn't really have no bread to buy shoes. Like I couldn't afford the shit. Family couldn't afford the shit. So what I used to do, I used to go on eBay and find like the used pairs, and then they would be like, if you type in like original Jordan, you can find something for like under 100, but they're like used. So you gotta like restore them and shit, like clean them up crazy, get that white polish put over it. But I would do that, and then I would flip them. Um, so I would like flip them, and then I would buy shoes when I want to, or uh, during that time though, I'm wearing them though in between before I sell them and shit. So it's like uh, people think I got like hella shoes or something. It's like, nah, I don't. I'm just flipping them. It's how big bread. And then with that, you want to match the shit that you wearing on your feet. You want to match with clothes and shit. So that's when I started to become like really like fashion conscious, like t-shirt conscious and shit. That's when like Diamond and the Pack was going crazy with like the skateboard brands and shit. And I used to skateboard, so I knew about all those brands already. So I would just start to buy them and shit. And when I first got a computer, I think it was like 98, 97. uh, I had like I got like a version of Adobe and used to play with like web design and HTML with like some of my boys and some of even the girls I went in elementary school. And we used to like compete and shit, like who could design the best website or blog or Zonga, or whatever that shit was called. Uh, and I didn't know at the time, bro, like I was learning HTML graphic design and shit and like fucking uh, buying and reselling. That's like arbitrary, whatever, with business. So uh, when it came time to like thinking about, okay, fuck, I grew up, I didn't like how he grew up, where it's like, didn't have that much bread. When my dad passed, my mom had to like beg for his early pension and shit. That shit tore me up. So I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm not leaving my destiny in a corporation. You know what I mean? Like my fate in the corporation's hands. If in case like my family, some shit happened to my family. So that's when like I knew about entrepreneurship. That was like about 2013. No, 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 no. I mean 2003. Uh, and then when I was at Laney, I had some boys from high school who was into the same shit, more so like the clothes and shoes and shit. And there was a brand in Hayward called Imperium. It was like these Asian dudes ran it, but then one of our Mexican boys from South Hayward used to like rep it all the time, and they were like in music videos and shit. I guess you remember that artist YB or something like that in the Bay? What was his name? Damn, I can't remember his name. It was something boy or whatever. I can't remember, but uh, he was the dude that had the clothing brand. He was the manager of them. So we saw it blowing up, and I saw the designs, and we were like, bro, I can design something better than this. And then one day, like I linked up with a few of my other boys. I'm like, bro, let's start a clothing line. And they was like, man, we was just talking about the same thing, and that's how Frontrvnners got started. That's when it started from there. It was like 2012, 2000, like early 2012. Yeah, right when we was finishing up at Laney around then.
Yeah, man. And I remember when you first getting started, selling shirts, out the trunk of your car.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me adjust my camera right quick just so people know.
That's crazy.
That's one of the original front runner
That's
shirts.
crazy. That's crazy. I got that
Uh,
shit folded up somewhere. That's crazy. We used to put the logo on the arm. That's wild. Damn.
uh,
Yeah, that was like one of the first shirts where like motherfuckers would like actually really want it. Like they were reaching out when I posted, like, yo, I need that. Yeah, that's crazy. Fuck. And I appreciate this. Yeah, yeah, it's always supporting. I think about you got the beanie and shit too. You got the hat. I remember that shit. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Always, man. Real recognize real. It's I mean, you already my boy, so I'm gonna support you off strength. But then it's the fact that you got a good product,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just as a like I said, as I'm a young businessman, and I see what you're doing, I see what you've done, and I just like to support it, even if because I'm gonna be honest, right now, my style is I don't wear these clothes a lot,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll buy a shirt for my brothers or something, or if I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be just doing something where I'm not really getting real dressed up, I'll throw on a t-shirt, and it's just, it's the support from me is always gonna be there, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like when it comes to t-shirts, I can't remember the last time I bought like a t-shirt from the store that's like a brand or something. It's always been like somebody I knew that got their own clothing brand or some shit. Like I don't really believe in that shit, honestly. Like it's dumb when you think about it, you know. Like you rather support this brand that don't care about you, don't know who the hell you are versus this person that really is changing that could change their life. You know what I mean? If you support them type shit. So yeah, no, I always appreciate when people do that because growing up in the Bay too, it's like or anywhere probably, it's like they people either want a discount or they want the shit for free or they just not gonna support at all, you know. And then like when something tragic happens in the culture, they're talking about support black business and all that shit. And it's like, bro, like shut up. Bro.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, it's so when people do support, bro, like I really appreciate. Like I never forget that shit. Like I save all the photos. Like I got all the photos on the hard drive that like anybody's ever taken or had wearing front runners. Like I save all that shit. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And man, on a bigger note, this is just my opinion, but I don't know. You may or may not agree with this, but my thing is, we see a lot of our people running off to buy Gucci and all this shit, and man, Gucci don't give a fuck about black people.
Nah,
That
bro.
that shit that they pulled with that damn
The
I know
noose
you
or
know what I'm talking
whatever.
about. It was a shirt that was like blackface.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about. Yeah, it was like a ski mask or something it had on it with with the red lips and shit.
Man,
Yeah, no, that shit dumb.
that's some racist ass shit. And then it's like our people keep supporting it, and then it's like Gucci is the status, of the streets, at least, or at least in the ghettos in the hood. People feel like if you dressed in Gucci, you got some money or you somebody. And really, in my opinion, that don't mean shit. I would
Nah,
rather
don't.
support someone like yourself, a
Yeah,
real young, true up and coming black businessman, you know. But
yeah. Well, I'm the same. I feel you on that. I feel you on that, bro. Because you go in one of them stores, that's for a discount. They're gonna look at you like you crazy. Uh, And then I don't know. I always think about it too. It's like we could easily be doing something else. You know what I mean? But we chose this route, and I don't know. I think that's for me. Even when shit gets hard, that's why I keep going. I got like fucking like down there 12, 13 nieces and nephews. You know, so and I'm the only. I'm the youngest of 8 children. The only one that's ever chose entrepreneurship. Only one that graduated from college. But so it's like I don't know. At least letting them see that that's an option. You know what I mean? Like versus them growing up like thinking like, fuck, I either gotta play sports, I gotta, sell drugs, or I gotta become a fucking rap artist to make above a regular wage, above 40, 60K a year. Like, Nah, bro, so much other shit you could do, like entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? And I think that's like what's the shit that it kind of sucks growing up. We weren't. I wish if there's one thing I go back and wish I wish that was like something that was talked about way earlier. Like that was made normal to us, like all the other shit that was made normal to us, like sports. Like, yeah. But that's why I take it so serious, even when shit gets hard or I gotta like fucking just take a break or whatever. I'm just get myself straight again, mentally, emotionally, physically, and all that shit. Like I always come back, whether it's a month later, a couple months later, a couple weeks later, because it's like they gotta see this shit. They gotta see it.
That's important. That's very important, man. You touched on so many things. I got so many questions. Let's take it one at a time. So first of all, I know you through sports, through playing football, and like you just mentioned, sports ain't the only way,
Mm-mm.
but sports was a way for I know for you and me to get through college,
Hell
and
yeah.
and from it set us on a certain path and gave us a certain discipline and shit. I mean, you up in Canada now, and I think sports may even played a role in that. I may be
Hell
wrong,
yeah.
but
Yeah, you know, I did. It did.
so
It
I
did.
just want to ask you, in your opinion, how much does sports and playing football affect you as a businessman that you are now?
I think it did in the sense of like I look at football as like a metaphor in the sense of life. You know what I mean? If I put the work in, you gotta like have the right relationships, you gotta know how to work with people. But you also gotta, be self-driven, handle your shit, play your role. Um, and I don't know, I always looked at football, especially when I got to college, as like a vehicle. I know this isn't like my dream ain't to do this forever. I know that's not realistic. So it's like I'm gonna ride this shit as far as it takes me. You know what I mean? Um, and it definitely inspires me as far as like the hard work and the work ethic because especially when we get to college and then when you're not a student athlete no more, you're just a student and you hear like regular students be like, man, I got like 3 courses this semester, man. I'm like stressed out. I'm like, bruh, I'm like, you have no idea, bro. Like we used to have to take full credits, full course load, morning workouts, film, fucking go on a field practice, probably have film after that, then do our own film study and training. Like, so it's like honestly, football kind of made shit easy in a sense. Like when it came to balance and shit, like because yeah, I don't know that shit. We play football from like kids to fucking early 20s, mid 20s. It's like we think that's just normal. That workload is normal. So by the time we become like regular people in the regular, uh, it kind of makes shit easy. I don't want to say easy because it's never easy, but it's like you don't look at it as like hard work. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like hard work. It don't look like I don't know how to explain it better than that, but football definitely like prepared me for that. Just more so the grind. You know what I mean? Uh, like instead of it's physical now, it's like more so mental and it's still physical. You gotta be healthy to be able to function properly. But yeah, football definitely just toughened me honestly when it comes to this, but also understanding just the power dynamics of relationships and shit. Meshing with different personalities and everything for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about how you got to where you at now, because I know you up in Canada, and most people go to school, do that, get their degree, and then come back home or go somewhere else. What made you decide to stay where you at and grow something out of there?
Yeah, because I left in 2013, and the plan was always to go back when I graduated. Um, and I played 2 years because I had 2 years eligibility, and then by that time it was like 2015, and I still had a year left to do for my credits, I believe. And I finished my bachelor degree, but then I was looking at all the jobs in the Bay Area and stuff for like business and marketing, and they were saying like they recommend having like some type of business degree or marketing degree to go along. And I only had a communication, so they actually had. I heard they had like an entrepreneurship program at my school, and it was just it would take just pretty much a year to complete. So I ended up staying a little bit longer. But even through that, the plan was to go back home. But it was like actually the the semester before graduation. Like, so I graduated spring 2017. Last day of classes was like May. Graduation was June 2017. I want to say like around October. Um, the girl, because I was doing long distance relationship, girl I was with for like 7 years. Girl ended up like falling out. Like she talked about like that like space thing, like I need space type thing. I'm like, bro, like what the fuck? Like the plan was to go back home. Um, and mind you, like my family moved from the Bay Area to Arizona in 2013, like a year after I left. So it's like the plan was to go home, settle, we moving together type shit, and that shit just crumbled, bro. So I kind of had to like kind of had to rebuild myself in a bit in a sense, you know, because what was it? 2013, I got there. This is going into 2017. For the last 4 years, I'm telling myself I'm gonna graduate, move back home, settle down. So it's like, and the graduation coming in like 5 months, 6 months. So like, bro, figure this shit out, bro. What you gonna do? Um, and it was crazy though, because going through that whole breakup and everything, you know, you kind of have to rebuild yourself. So like, uh, you know, usually as a man, if men like us, when we want to be entrepreneurs, want to be driven, we go back into like self, and then that's when I just started like, uh, you know, getting doing my therapy type shit, working out even more again, doubling down on the business, and then fuck 2017 hit, and then it's like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I think 2017 is probably like my most like externally decorated year as far as like accomplishments and like awards and shit. Like we won like I won like 2 or 3 business competitions through the university. Uh, you know, started to did our first. Um, we started to do like events at clubs, was making money that way. And then even the marketing stuff started taking off. Where like I started to get like pretty decent sized marketing clients. Where it's like I really like I could have done the marketing stuff full time. And I just looked at it like it came around graduation. The relation was not. This relation was still fucked up. So I'm like, you know what? There's more opportunities here in Canada for me than going back home. So I'm gonna just stick it out here. You know, like I got a peace of mind here. I still haven't peaked yet. You know what I mean? Um, I damn sure ain't going to Arizona. Like fuck, I ain't trying to move out there. Fuck, like it was just boring as hell out there to me. So yeah, I stayed out here just because it seemed like just more opportunities. But most of all, like I just had it's a peace of mind I can't explain really, bro. Out here, like just being black out here, way different peace of mind. Like I look at the U.S. Black people probably like when if it's like a hate ranking, we're like tied number one, you know, probably between us and the Mexicans, um, and the terrorists, whatever quote unquote terrorists. But out here, bro, we're like number 4 on like the racist hate rank. Like number 1 is like the indigenous, like the First Nations people, Native Americans. Number 2 is like they call them brown, but it's really like the Middle Eastern people. The number 3 is like the foreign Asian people that are like rich and buying up all the property. And then it's black people. So it's like, bruh, I go downtown to go out. I don't gotta have on a collar shirt. I can wear whatever shoes. They don't be like power tripping them, like don't be lying like that. Like it's chill, bro. Like when all that Black Lives Matter stuff was going on, like a bunch of like the white friends and shit or different people was just reaching out to me that were Canadian, making sure I'm straight. I'm like, bro, like I'm a Canada, I'm cool. Like, but yeah, bro, it was just peace of mind and opportunity. You know, that's why I chose to stay here.
That's man, that's a good story, and that's important for people to hear, because on the outside looking in, you was just ascending, and that
Yeah,
goes to your work ethic. No one would ever know that you was going through that hard time,
yeah,
because
bro.
just looking at your business, it was just going up, 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 up. So
That's the crazy part about it too, bro. That's the crazy part about it, where it's like you have all this external, like it looks so good on the outside, but it's like, nigga, you low key like you're still building, like you trying to fucking pick the box back up and fix it. You know what I mean? And these things are just happening to happen with it, come with it. But I was rebuilding like a motherfucker inside, bro. Like during that time, that shit was crazy. I don't wish that shit on nobody, bro. That shit felt like jail or something. It's crazy.
no, I feel you, and then you also mentioned when you going through a hard time, you internalize, get back into your working out, get into your health, make sure you straight,
Yeah.
and you always, through sports, you've always been, pretty fit. I never known you to let yourself get too far out of shape if you ever got out of shape. So what's your day to day like now when it comes to like the fitness or just like your nutrition and shit?
Yeah, I really try my best to not eat carbs. Um, the slow carb diet more so. I was reading a book by Tim Ferriss where he talks about the it's called the 4 hour body, but it's just more so the 4 hour shit just is branding, but it's not necessarily 4 hours, but it's more so staying away from carbs and most of the fruits pretty much. Um, and then with that, doing like hit type of training. But for the most part, like my day is usually like I have the 3-in-1 push-ups and abs thing in my living room that I use, and then I'll do that, and then between that I'll meditate before I work. On a good day, on a perfect day, this is what I would do, and then from there, it's typically like eating like one of those, they have like the big salad like plastic things you can buy. Yeah, it's usually like a spinach one of that or like a mixed salad one, and then I'll do like a. I usually will grill like a steak on a George Foreman, either steak or chicken. I'll do that and then just take all the vitamins I got and shit, like vitamin D, biotin. There's some other shit I don't even remember the name of it. Right, it's like all in my cabinet. I just take that, but for the most part, it's more so the stay away from carbs, and I try like don't get me wrong, I ain't perfect, but just reading up on it and how that shit leads to like diabetes. That's the main thing for me, like laying back on that shit, because with black people, bro, diabetes that's like it's like second nature to us, damn near when we get old. So that's the main thing.
Yep, that's important though, man. That's important for for everything you do. It's only gonna go as far as your health. Even
Yeah,
if you've been growing your business to a point where you might have some people working for you, but it's only gonna be a certain way when you are at your best. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah. No, you're right.
that's important. So let's fast forward through that. So 2017 was a good year for you, or at least you made it look real good. So
It looked good on the outside. It definitely looked good on the outside. Just from like, yeah, it was weird though, because it's like I wasn't that wasn't really the goal, for it to look good. It was just more so like we would do things and then I would get accredited for like, like they chose me to do the speech for graduation. They chose me, like they chose my brand as like the top small business award. Um, and yeah, just sharing that shit. I guess that made it look crazy, but it was like some just real unexpected shit. Like that was never the goal of 2017. The goal was like, bro, just get your shit together, bro. Like just get yourself together type shit.
so how'd you navigate once the pandemic hit in 2020? How was that like for you?
Yeah, the pandemic was interesting because they didn't really go crazy shutting shit down in Canada until like April, May-ish, I'd say. And it was interesting too because around that time I started doing online therapy like in February, and it wasn't like I was going through anything, but it was more so okay, let me be proactive versus reactive. Since I'm in this good space, I got the time, I got the money set aside for it. Let me just do this finally. Um, through like a actual like licensed one, not just like advice from people. And yeah, I started doing it. And so like by the time like the pandemic stuff really happened like crazy, uh, Canada was actually like giving out like $2,000 a month to people. So like financially, it wasn't really hard. And like by the time April hit, that's when I first started playing with like Facebook and Instagram ads for the clothing brand. And I remember I had like I saw Diamond Supply post up that they were making masks or whatever, and their comments were just going crazy. And I'm like, I still got my supply from when I did masks a couple of years ago. So let me mock something up, post it up, see like what the feedback is. So post it up, yeah, just people started just wanting it and everything. So I started selling that, started going good. Then I just started to run ads on that, and by the time like they made it where people couldn't come into different workplaces and stuff, uh, I was like full blown running ads, and I just kept scaling each month on that. And fuck, it's crazy, bro. It's like motherfuckers was shopping way more during the pandemic, like way more. Like I don't know. I've been doing the brand for a minute, but bro, I probably made in 6 months more in 6 months than I made in like 2 years combined doing this shit, bro. It was crazy, and that's what like kind of opened my mind up about like advertising and just how big the world is, versus being like, oh, I just want to hit California, New York, Atlanta, my city. Nah, bro, like had people from Singapore, fucking Australia, uh, of course the US and shit, Korea, I had a Japan and Mexico. Like, yeah, so it was good. Like honestly, the pandemic, it was straight for me because I'm an introvert at nature. So that shit was pretty easy for me. Only thing that was like kind of whack is not making it back for my mom's birthday. I usually always go back for that. But other than that, no, it was like this shit to be honest with you. As far as the lifestyle goes. But it's unfortunate people died and some people lost jobs and shit. That shit sucks. But for me, I can't complain. That's the most money I ever made, bro. That shit was crazy. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
I think that's why it's important to always be original and always be on your grind because you was prepared before the pandemic. You came out with the mask before the pandemic, you know.
Yeah,
And like you said, even like with your like with going to see a therapist, your mental health, being proactive rather than reactive.
yeah,
Sometimes we do things and we don't even know what we're preparing ourselves for,
yeah.
but
That's just crazy.
you were ready. I had the same situation. I used to, matter of fact, I got a picture of me training back in 2015. I had a training mask on that would make it hard for you to breathe while you work out, and I had a Frontrvnners beanie on.
I think I took that picture, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did. I think Chance had tag Ferns. I'm like, damn, that picture hard as fuck. I forgot about that shit. Like I
Yeah,
might need to put that shit up on my portfolio again. That shit crazy. That shit look hard.
yeah, but it's just like the preparation before. I was just trying to push myself to another level, right? But then when
Yeah.
the pandemic come, and then they say, oh, if you at least out here in California, if you're gonna be indoors working out, you gotta have a mask on. Man, do you
Mm.
know how many people complain to me? And I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But I got so many people complaining to me like, man, I don't want to wear this. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to do that.
Hell yeah.
And I understood everybody where it was coming from. But on the flip side, I was cool because I prepared long before, not even knowing, you know.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Yeah, because you was wearing the what's that? That was like the resistance mask, some shit like that too. That
Yep.
shit's crazy. Yeah, because I know even when I go for like I'll go for walks sometimes and that should even be annoying wearing it when I go for walks, bro. And then worked out with it a few times. That shit's whack too, and they still requiring that shit. But yeah, no, it's good that you did that. And one thing though about the therapy shit, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's the best money I spent in my 20s, bro. Easy, easily,
Mm.
easy, bro. Like I feel like for Black people, we should get like, uh, I feel like we should get free therapy. Like in this, that should be like a law. That should be like a bill pass, bro. Because I don't know, bro. It's crazy. It's just crazy, man. Like the shit that we think is normal, that that's trauma, bro. Like that's actually trauma. Like one thing I talked about with my therapist, talked about like growing up and shooting that Laney, and then how like niggas was shooting downtown Oakland at the parties and shit or the functions sometimes, and me at one point saying like, bro, like I'm done going to them fucking shit. So I ain't about to be around that shit. And then she like kind of stopped me. She was like, that's like PTSD, right? I'm like, what do you mean? And she was like, if you change how you function out of fear or some type of anxiety, that's PTSD. That's like no different than you seeing a photo of somebody that passed away and the memory starting to hurt you again. If you go to an area and you're like paranoid, that's PTSD. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, damn. I'm like, there's a bunch of places I don't go. So, but it's like we grow up thinking that shit's just being street smart. But yeah, no, bro, it revealed a bunch of shit like that. But therapy, the best money I spent in my 20s, bro. Easy.
That's an important message, man. I was always open to it, but even hearing you talk about it more got me wanting to get on it more, because that's 100% true. And but like you said, that's having street smarts. That's really what kept us around to this day. Because you
Hell
and
yeah,
I
bro.
both know, and then there was a lot of dudes that we grew up with that are not here no more, just off
Facts.
of making the opposite decision. You know,
Facts, bro. Facts.
so
That
that's
shit,
big.
that shit's crazy to me because and I'm not sure how it was when you went to Idaho and shit, but like when you move into a different state really makes you see how that shit's not normal too. Like when
Absolutely.
you get around motherfuckers that like, their parents went to college, all that, and they come from these good families and shit and grew up in the suburbs and they don't really know anybody that really got shot and killed or, locked up for a gang of years. Like, nah, they probably know somebody that OD'd or died in a car crash. But as far as like murder being homicide, like constantly, like that being a normal thing to hear on the news, like, nah. So yeah, it's crazy when you move into a different environment. It's the first now like open my eyes up to that shit. Damn,
Yeah,
shit fucked up,
same
bro.
here. Same here. When I moved to Idaho, it was definitely a culture shock, but for me, it was more so because I'm still in America in a place where it is no black folks.
Yeah,
It's just the only black people in Idaho was the athletes.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and that is no exaggeration. So I was going through my own culture shock. Just on that level. Because it's you still got to worry about racism and shit. Up in Canada, you say it may not be as bad, but it was still different. The fact that me and my teammates we would go out to bars and shit, on the weekends, and I would, I mean, I'm always gonna be alert, wherever I'm at, but
facts, yeah,
you can't kind of let your guard down a little bit, just because just the how people navigate, in different areas.
yeah. Yeah, because I went out to Idaho State. How far is that from University of Idaho?
Uh, I'm not sure because I didn't travel when we played Idaho State. They came out to us. I think
Okay,
it's no more than a couple hours though. It's not
okay.
too far.
Yeah, I remember going out there and I'm like, man, this shit is interesting. But yeah, you're right. Like only the athletes are black. Like only the athletes are black, and they're just be throwing house parties and shit. But I don't know. I couldn't imagine being going to Idaho, bro. What that should be like. Because yeah, when you get to those states, bro, it's just different. It's way different.
Yeah, it was way different. And I was younger. I went to Idaho when I first got to high school. So
Oh shit,
I
yeah.
was hella young experiencing that. That's a lot of reason why I came back and ended up at Laney because I was like, fuck this. you know. But
Oh shit.
so what would be your main advice or your top three things that you would tell a young brother that's growing up, let's just say in the Bay Area or shit in any hood in America, really, and want to find a way out, maybe not even start a clothing line, but want to do something for itself. What would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, I definitely would say first thing is like there's some that like we're all good at, but most of us don't know it because it comes so natural to us, that we think it's regular and shit, but it takes us to get around people and see them struggle at it and us do it easily. And I would say like find out what that is for you and like make some type of business out of that. And even if it's not like a main business, it don't gotta be like a public company, nothing like that, but just something that makes you self dependent or independent financially more so, to where you don't necessarily got to depend on these corporations to have your best interest because, truth be told, they don't. You know, I mean, you know that you live in Silicon Valley, so it's like robots or automations and all that artificial intelligence going to take people's jobs. So it would definitely be that. Um, Another thing would be uh, as far as one big thing for me, and even sometimes I find I got to catch myself sometimes too, is that I'm constantly looking for like advice or information Um, and sometimes, if you're not careful, you can take advice or information from somebody that hasn't actually done what you're trying to do. Um, and most people that have done what you're trying to do, the route is completely different. You're gonna have to kind of figure out your own route, type of thing. It's good when it comes to simple shit like how do I make a website type shit. But when it comes to like your final destination, uh, take all the advice with like a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Be able to weed out critical think. Should I try this? Should I not? But then for the most part, like, bro, just like go down your own path. You're gonna if you really want it, you're gonna figure it out type shit. Because I wasted so much time, bro. Uh, like one example, when we won that like business competition in college, it came with like mentorship from like people that were in this incubator, like just older people that are like some professors, business owners type shit. And bruh, that was probably the worst my business ever did was during that mentorship program.
Hmm.
Because I'm taking advice from people that they're not they're knowledgeable about fashion, but they're not in this industry and they don't understand it based on how the culture is today with fashion and streetwear. And then two, it's like I don't want these people's lives. Like when I look at where I want to go and where they're at, like no disrespect to them, like they of course they were like professorship, they're making money and all that, but it's like nah, that's not me in 30, 40 years. So why am I listening to this, you know? So I found that my most productive times was when I sat the fuck down, just started trying shit, you know, what felt right, you know, analyzing, okay, should try this, this makes sense, let's do this type shit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I was a lot more better off doing that shit. And that's really when business like really took off for me, you know, to be able to do it full time. So that's the main thing, bro. Like, you know, like try things out first and seek advice if you really need to. But when you even do, take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt because everybody's different. Everybody's different. No, there's not one person that's the same. Uh, third, third, I would say, shit. I would say, and this is something I'm still learning, is understand that, like, understand the value of being selfish. Uh, because even that's something that was revealed to me through therapy. It's like damn near everything I do is for some like for family or like for the people around me or the people that uh, are watching me or supporting me. But through that, you forget to like take care of yourself. Like, but you forget to do that thing that makes you happy or just for fun or just relax or even work out or check on your mental health. Uh, and with that, it's like you start to work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, and then you crash even harder. You know what I mean? And you're wondering like, how the fuck did I get here? Type shit. And it's because you weren't selfish. You know, you start to people please too many people versus making sure you're straight first. Uh, and that was something for me that I definitely uh, kind of embraced just recently, like during COVID, more so. Like, yeah, that would be that could damn near be number one because I feel like that can support a lot more shit. And what I've learned through being selfish in that way and making sure you're straight is that if you have a good heart, naturally you're gonna help other people if you take care of yourself, if you're straight. As like I'm sure, Mike, like if you got 10 mil, you're gonna start your own fuck. You probably already got like some type of foundation where you help kids or something, you know. Like you're gonna use that 10 mil, some of that money to help the neighborhood, to help the kids from your community. Like if you have a good heart and you're selfish enough to make sure you're straight to accumulate all that stuff, naturally you're gonna give after that. And yeah, that's one thing that I learned. So it's more so just prioritizing self first, and then you know the fruits that bears. You know, being able to help other people with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had just yesterday was Father's Day. It was my first Father's Day of having my baby, right?
Oh
My
shit!
baby girl.
Congrats.
Thank you. But a couple years before that, before I even had any kids, I was fortunate enough to take a whole group of little boys that was training with me to the A's game on Father's Day.
Oh, that's crazy.
All these little boys did not have their fathers around. Well, I'll say the
Damn.
majority of them did not have their fathers around. So that's a day that I'll never forget. And it came from me having to focus and lock in and do some things, like you said, be selfish, build my business up to a certain point to where I was able to even do that.
Yeah, man, congratulations on that shit. That's motivation. That's some shit that you make me want to try and do. Cause yeah, bro, that shit. When you a kid, bro, that shit's like Disneyland, bro. Like watching professional athletes in person. Like I wanted that shit more than Disneyland, actually. You know. So nah, bro, I respect that. That's dope as hell. And I meant to ask you too. Like, so what's everything going on? What's the big plan as far as the business goes and everything? Like, what's the next stage for you, you think?
Man, right now I am in a transition phase. And a
Hmm.
lot of it I'm gonna speak to you off the line, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna need your help in doing what you do and your promotion and your
yeah.
marketing, things like that. But to answer your question in short, what my vision is definitely to scale and expand. Um,
Hmm.
Throughout COVID, I've been blessed, through a situation like you, kind of where the business kind of did even better than before. I had to uh I had to shut a lot of my classes down. I had my fitness classes because the gym was closed, but then I had the opportunity to get a lot more private clients. And
Dope.
in fitness, that's really, that's premium right there, is your private clients. So
Yeah.
that that helped. So what I would like to do is uh get more online. I want to be able to touch, at least help as many people as I can. I can't help everybody, but I don't want to just I do believe my brand and my business is bigger than just the Bay Area,
Sure.
although that's where I'm physically at. So if you want to get the absolute best experience training with me, you're gonna have to come out here. But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you can't get out here, even like yourself, I want to be able to keep you fit on a good fitness plan all the way in Canada, or helping people all over. So online, and just continue to grow. I got this podcast going. I want to just continue to spread the word, and just let it go. Let it go where it takes me. I ultimately wanted to have a gym, and I still do, but with the government shutdown and all that, I definitely I learned how to be patient.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah. That
fortunate
shit force that.
that I
That
didn't
shit will
have
force you.
a situation, because it could have been a lot worse, having to pay all that overhead and during COVID and not being able
Hell
to
yeah,
operate, so
yeah, yeah. No, they fucked over a lot of businesses with that shit out here in California. Uh, but no, I think that's where it's at when it comes to just business in general. Like we kind of saw that direction, but I think like COVID was like steroids for that shit as far as that you need to have a digital component. Um, but yeah, no, the fitness side, bro, I think is really doable, bro. Like, it's very, very doable because people are always trying to look for new tips or new things to do. Like, I've even thought about, I just see a bunch of these fitness brands pop up where though those are probably the ones that are like generating. I don't know. I got to see the numbers, but they generate a lot of money, and it's very interesting. More so on the women's side, their women aren't very. There's not much brand loyalty, so you see a lot of different brands selling the same type of leggings and
mm.
eating. You know what I mean? So I think there's a huge potential on the fitness side, where there's the courses, the private classes, the workout plans or meal plans, or even the apparel. Yeah, yeah, I think it's definitely a huge opportunity.
Oh, the apparel is always going to be a part of my business. It's been shit, bro. Truthfully, it's been months where I was able to get some bills paid just off of the clothes that I for real, just
Yeah,
off of that. So it's something good to have a part of the business, and thanks to you, I've had a great nice logo that people enjoy wearing, and that's the most important thing. You man, I can't tell you how many times I get calls and people like, oh man, I just saw someone in the grocery store wearing your hoodie.
wow, that's lit.
Or you
That's
see a little
lit.
kid, someone take a picture of a kid they see on the street, and the kid's wearing my hoodie. That's
That's lit.
it's cool. So I'm always gonna keep that going, and you definitely the person that can help me make that even bigger and better. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got a
bro.
lot.
No, it's definitely doable because I mean, you're already doing all the groundwork. Definitely doing the groundwork. It's just leveraging technology to scale that shit to reach motherfuckers in Australia or fucking even South Africa and shit. Like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy how big the markets are.
So I know you're a busy dude, but this is also something that you do is you help get other businesses off the ground. So for those people that's watching the podcast right now, where can they find you or tap in with you if they want to get your services?
Yeah, they can hit me on easiest is my personal Instagram is Joshua Jackai, and then there's also my website that shows some of the things I've done. It's joshuajackai.com. Then there's also Instagram, a portfolio Instagram I just started. I'm still building up this Jackai agency, and then the clothing brand is Frontrvnners on Instagram. It's instead of a U when you spell runners, it's a V, so it's Frontrvnners, one word. But yeah, they can reach out to me mainly on my personal account, and yeah, I'll be able to get back to them.
Cool, man. Josh, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate
No,
you so
thank
much
you,
for
bro.
being you, bro. Just keep being you, keep doing you, and keep growing. And the sky is the limit, man. The sky is the limit.
I
Um,
appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
no
Likewise,
problem.
too.
So we're gonna wrap this episode up. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys support, like it, subscribe, share it with somebody. If you check out Josh's clothing line, even if it may be your style, it may not be your style. It's a very unique type of style, but check it out and share it because there's a lot of people that would love what he's doing. If you guys like Diamond Supply and those type of clothing lines, which everyone likes, and Supreme and all that shit,
Yeah,
you definitely got to check my guy out because he is, in my opinion, better than all that. But check it out
appreciate
and form
it.
your own opinion.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, bro. Well, thanks again, man. And that's it for this episode.
All right, man. Take care.
Later.